The bug out bag fantasy. It is all over YouTube. What do you need? You need this type of bag and this type of gear, and this is where you're going. You're going out to the woods. You don't need that. In this video, real quick, I'm gonna literally explain the realistic approach to this. You don't need buy a bunch of stuff. If you want to, sure you can. But most people forget step one, and that step one is to have a plan. That's what we're gonna discuss. Where are you even going? Most people don't even know where they're going. That's what we're gonna discuss today. So, the bug out bag, the realistic mindset, right? Most people, and even on YouTube, and even myself, if you just tune in one of my shows or one of my videos, you're gonna be like, wow, this guy's nuts and he has a bunch of stuff and whatnot. Cool, but it has more depth to it than just getting a bag. For example, people actually bug out in the United States. Hundreds of thousands of people bug out every year for certain things, whether it be forest fires or even a hurricane. People just like, oh, there's a hurricane coming here. I'm just gonna pack up some stuff, batten down the hatches, and we're leaving. That's literally a bug out. It's not the cataclysmic bug out like scenario that everybody likes to see or hear, but you're literally leaving your house and you're leaving it to go somewhere else. The most likely thing you can go to or wanting to have a location to go to is friends, family, or coworkers. More than likely, depending on the scenario, you can leave that said area to go to one of their houses and their houses may not be affected. Probably not, depending on where it's at. And that is your best bet. That should be your plan. As in having, okay, I have a friend over here and he lives in the next city over here, and you know, I have some family living in the next state, maybe a little bit longer. That should be your plan. Why are you headed out to the middle of nowhere with your family? That is the worst case scenario. That is like the last thing, is in like everything is used up in my entire like capability range and I just need to start walking in a direction. Like that's really ridiculous. Have a plan, right? Where are you going? And then you can start building your bag or your kit, because you don't have to have a bag. Bags are just easily usable, because worst case scenario says you're probably gonna be using your feet at some point in time because we're gonna run out of fuel, or you're gonna just have to hike. Something's gonna happen to your vehicle, right? More than likely, probably not gonna happen, right? You don't have to worry. Like, you can probably drive to that location, but in worst case scenario, most YouTubers say get a bag so you can hike with it. Get out of your car. Car breaks down on the way, get out, go start hiking. That's the point of it. So, friends and family, that is where you're gonna look. Take a map and go like, okay, this is where we are. These are potential locations where I can go and be safe. Now, what kind of item categories should you look into when you go down this path? Now, again, there's tons of people on YouTube, including myself. I recommend items all the time because I always kind of assume that most of you already have those few steps figured out of where are you going and what environment you are in. If you can figure out those two, then you can start procuring items. So that's what I typically do. I show a lot of item recommendations. This is what works for me, stuff like that. I show what works for me as a reference for y'all. Now, your categories, like literally first off, what should you have in your bag or on you? Honestly, cash. Just bring cash with you. You can buy your way out of so many specific scenarios all across the country, or whatever country you are in viewing this at. If you have currency from that location, you can probably buy food, water, shelter, a spare tire, extra quart of oil, you know, whatever you may need for your vehicle or for yourself, including when the power's out. If you have cash, not card, do not use credit card, right? Sure, carry one on you, but if you could use it, use the card first and then go to cash. But again, cash, you're pretty well set for the most part. Even in cataclysmic situation, most likely people are still going to be taking cash of some kind. The next one on my list literally is protection. Some means of protection from someone else, because if you have a bunch of cash and that is your lifeline, you don't want said other individual to take said cash, because then you're out. You may not even have a bag. Maybe you just have a wad of cash in your pocket and let's say a pistol. And I am hiking or walking or driving in my car. Okay, there you go. That's what you got. So the next level to that is after your cash and your protection, a pistol or some kind of tool that you can ward off potential threats with, right? Doesn't have to be a firearm, which I recommend it, but if you're in an area that can't do that, there are other means. Next, realistically, is documentation. Insurance, life insurance policies, your bank account information, birth certificate, social security number, like documents like that, just in case if you leave your home and you can't come back to it, you can at least start over another life going, man, I don't know what that loan number was, and I don't remember this, and it was on my phone. Physical hard copies of your documentation. Kind of, in my opinion, common sense, right? We're not even to the survival-y bits in a way, but those are so you can start over, because more than likely, a massive cataclysmic event, human beings are going to start over eventually, whether that be in 2 months, 5 months, 6 months, or a year. There's going to be some other circumstance or community that comes together, and you're going to want to show documentation of your previous experiences and jobs and stuff like that, more than likely, in that regard. Bank accounts, stuff like that. Next, now we're gonna get into those survival-y stuff, right? Now you're just gonna go down, okay, like water procurement. Okay, I need something for a water procurement. A canteen and a cane of provisions water decon kit. There you go. That can get you pretty far, realistically, and it's super cheap. $3 realistically, and like $15 for the cane of provisions kit. Set. Super cheap. Done. Over with. Sure, you can expand on this if you have a family with you and you're like, hey, I'm gonna go with a Sawyer Mini with a bag or a Grail, and a Millbank bag, and then you just keep expanding if you want, depending on when funds come available for you and how much money you want to dump into it. But initially, just go super cheap. Next, we're going into food and then shelter, right? Food. Simple food, not mountain house meals. Something super easy, as in tuna and literally tortillas, because you can eat them in any climate, ready to go. Just slap it on there and eat. You don't need to worry about the fuel and starting a fire and all this other nonsense. You're just trying to get to point A to point B. Simple, easy stuff. Granola bars. Send it. They last a while. Every couple years, swap them out in your bag. There you go. You're done. Moving on to, realistically, the last thing, which there's a lot of other categories, but generally, after food, you got shelter for the most part, as in have a tarp. If it starts to rain, put it over you. Rain ponchos are amazing, right? Something simple, easy, like that. And then actually, lastly, I guess I could add on, is communication. Not for you to communicate with someone else, but for you to listen to what's going on. A scanner or a Baofeng radio so you can tune in and hear what the local situation is going with. Because more than likely, if we lose power, communication is gone. That's what happens in all scenarios. It disappears, communication, so nobody knows what's really going on. More than likely, this is probably gonna be the last thing that actually degrades for the most part. Could be the first, I mean, it just depends, but communication, listening to what's going on. Hey, is it all clear to go home? I'm just gonna jump in my car, and we're just gonna drive back and see how the house stood up, Or if you walked. Guess it's all clear back in my hometown, so I guess hopefully I can get a bus or something like that, or hitchhike, or whatever it is, and we're going back. There you go. How do you know it's clear if you can't hear anything, right? Simple stuff. Again, if you want to know specific details, and if you're further on down this road and you're already still tuning into this video, thank you, I appreciate it. But I also have references. I'll probably put B-roll up here of my full bug out bag rundown of just recommendations. Now, this was for me, my bag, not yours. But I recommend you look at it to maybe generate some ideas. You don't have to copy me. That's not the intent, because your situation is different than everybody else. It's different than mine. And you have to make good decisions on what you're gonna put in your bag. You make it go super cheap, super expensive, whatever you wanna do. Mine's fairly expensive because literally I do this for fun and as a hobby. I buy new gear and I see if it works, and then I share with it all of you. So that's why I have a lot of stuff, and a lot of good stuff for that point. So I'll link that in the description box and probably up here somewhere wherever the tabs pop up. If you guys want to buy said items, I have an Amazon list. Everything on my Amazon list, right, that I have, Prepared Airman's Amazon list, I have physically used and vetted. So if it's on there, that means it's good. If it's not on there, that means I haven't tested it or I don't like it. Just literally how it goes. So probably gonna be a part 2 to this where I dive into more details here in the future about actual specific details, legitimately, what items do I recommend in these categories, right? Now you're starting with your plan. Where are you going, right? Next is, okay, what's going on? Where am I going to? And then what am I taking with me, right? If you have that first thing, where am I going, the plan, then you can start adding other gear onto it. So again, like, subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. If you're past this point, definitely throw it in the comments section. If you're not, if you're like, hey, I never thought about it this way, this is kind of interesting, or I have, throw in the comments section. I greatly appreciate it. Give some feedback. It's supposed to be two-way communication. Or when you comment, someone else might comment on your comment. That's how this YouTube thing works. It's super cool. So dive in there if you want to. We also have Patreon and PayPal available too if you want to donate, see behind the scenes, stuff like that. We have patches and stickers if you want to really help out the channel and you want some merchandise for it, because the money goes back into this, so I purchase more gear and then I share your gear to you and see if it works. So you don't have to do the whole process of buying it. I test it, I buy it, then I share with you. That's how it works. Yeah, other than that, it's kind of an initial intro into the realistic mindset of a bug out bag and getting away from the fantasy stuff of a bug out bag. So if you liked it, like, subscribe, really appreciate it. Hope you all have a great day.